Bill McDonald here, FLW Touring Pro, here to talk about one of the Strike King baits. It's called a Slither rig. It's really a unique bait, to say the least. It's a you got a tungsten head with a skirt on it, and you know, it's a punch bait. That's what it's known to be, is a punch bait. But there's so many different applications you can do with this thing. And the neat thing about it is you can put different type trailers on it. You can put your hook on it, whatever size you want. And then, you know, it's good for the grass, it's good for the wood. I mean, there's a lot of different applications. So you get an opportunity, get you a Strike King Slither rig and give it a shot. What we're doing here today, we're on Kentucky Lake and we're fishing this grass out here. It's fall of the year. They've got it pulled down to winter pool. So this grass is really defined. You got little isolated clumps. You always hit every little clump that you see. You know, even if it's a little bitty clump, it's a piece of cover that they can hide their eye, and if they can hide their eye, they're good to go in that. So we're trying to pick it apart, and the little irregularities where that these fish can set and ambush the bait in here. Because I mean, that's what they're doing. They're ready to eat now. It's gouge time, gorge time. They're going to fill themselves up, get ready for the winter time. So what we're trying to do is, you know, I punch it in there, I let it go to the bottom, I let it stop. If they're not there, I'll pump it 2 or 3 times, pick it up, go to the next little spot there. And you just pick it apart. And then you got to let the fish tell you how they want that bait. You know, if they hit it on the way down, that's what they're telling you they want it. If it's sitting there to steal, they pick it up, pay attention to what you're doing when you get bit. Because like I said, they're telling you how they want that bait. And our biggest problem is we all want them to eat it the way that we want them to eat it. But the key to it is giving it to them the way that they want it. If you can do that and figure that out, you'll fill the boat up with fish each time you go out. When doing this technique here, there's a lot of different variables you can use. You can throw a frog, you know, out here. You can throw a topwater around the edges of it, and it's through trial and error. But your higher percentage, you know, I look at the odds. If I get a fish to bite this thing, the odds of me landing that fish are great percentages higher than per se a frog or a topwater out here. So, you know, I try to go with the odds, and then, you know, you got to eliminate the options. You know, sometimes they want that frog and you got to play with it. You got to, you know, keep your options open. That's what practice is for. So you're playing around trying to see. You know, today it's extremely windy, and I think the best option is to punch instead of trying to throw that topwater like a sexy dog or the frog out here. I'm throwing a 20-pound fluorocarbon, and one reason I do that is, you know, this lake gets quite a bit of pressure on it, and the line makes a different sound. When you put braid into it, it's got like a humming type sound as it goes through there while you're punching. And, you know, on a highly pressured deal, you get more bites throwing the fluorocarbon. And then, you know, reels, I'm throwing a 7-to-1 retrieve lose. So when I get that fish on there, I mean, it's direct connect, and I can work to get it out of that grass. Sooner I can get it out of that grass, sooner I can get it in the boat. And then I'm throwing a, you know, at least a 7.3 to 7.6, maybe even an 8-foot heavy action rod. Because like I said, I want to be able to turn that fish as soon as I possibly can when it bites and get it coming my way. What I've got here, I've got a couple different Slither rigs set up here and with different trailers on here. You know, one, we got our new Rage Bug on here, and it's got some little arms on them. It's got legs that kick really well. I mean, there's a lot of movement in that. You know, another option, you know, I've got a black and blue for that dirtier water in there. And this one here, you know, we've got the rodent on there, which is a dynamite bait. You know, and it's just, you know, personal preference basically on those 2 baits there, what you want to do. And if you're wanting something with a little bit, you know, more subtle, you know, you can take that Menace on there. It's just got the 2 little legs on it, and it just don't have quite as much action to it. But it's still a dynamite bait to catch these fish on with that Slither rig. And then if you're really wanting the action, that's right, pick up that Rage Crawl. And I mean, when you got that Rage Crawl on there and it's falling, I mean, it's got action like you can't believe. So in different situations, I mean, if those fish are buried up and they've had a ton of pressure on them, you know, you might go back to that Menace. You know, you're wanting something small and subtle, and you're in there, and, you know, like a real heavy mats, it's been pressured, you're punching them, just something real subtle fall down through there. If those fish are aggressive, you turn around and you throw that Rage Crawl in there, and I mean, when they hit it, they kill it. So those are a couple different options here on the Slither rig, and like I said, any way you do it, always peg that thing. Take a rubber peg, like a crappie peg weight, or a slip bobber sinker, peg that thing in there instead of putting that toothpick in there and damaging that line. When you use a fluorocarbon line, it's too easy to damage that line by sticking a toothpick on it. So just a little bobber stopper right there, peg it, you're good to go. So let me tell you something, next time you get ready to go fishing, try something different, you know, instead of doing the same old thing all the time. Pick you up a couple of these Slither rigs, get you some different weights, a couple different colors. Go pick you up, you know, some rage bugs, rage crawls, or rodent, and go out and experiment. I mean, this is something I'm telling you guys, is you need it in your arsenal, and it's going to help you catch a few more fish each time you go out. So give us a shot. So next time you're going, pick some up. In fact, I'm going right now.